I strongly believe in the undeniable power of positivity. Being negative all the time impedes our ability to lead a fulfilling life. Positive mindset is preferable, but there is a dark side to the whole positivity culture we see nowadays. We all know those people who always are happy and utterly optimistic about everything. You probably notice when you talk to them about a specific situation you're dealing with, who will sprinkle you with optimism, which they probably think make your problems go away in an instant. Let's look at some conversations. I have been cheated on. I lied to so many times. I now find it hard to trust anyone. They say, stop being so negative. I'm feeling upset over. And before you could even complete your sentence, they say, shh, stop, 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 stop. Stop right there. Let's be more positive. Now, reframe your sentence to positive words. I'm having suicidal thoughts lately. They say, there are so many people in the world who are in a much worse situation. Good vibes only. I've seen it on social media and in real life conversations. How many of you think this kind of response is even helpful? I suspect statements like this comes from a sincere place of care, but also blissful ignorance. In time, or when you look closer, this ignorance is no longer blissful. Toxic positivity is a push for a mental state in which we only experience and show positive emotion. It is a tendency to react to others' suffering and struggles with reductive statements of positivity. It is refusing to see the negative even when it is the elephant in the room, solely focusing on the positive instead of facing reality as it is. Artificial smiles, and sweeping anything undesirable under the carpets. If a person goes through a physically painful chronic illness, they will not be able to shrug it off and be happy about it. Reality is the majority of people do not work that way. Most likely never will. In general, human beings experience deep grievances over loss and death. We simply cannot refuse to not see it. So, is denial of something that is a healthy position to take? I don't think so. The tricky part of positive mind state and the experience of happiness is indeed more preferable, but by rejecting and disapproving what is, emotions such as grief, sadness, anger, our current state of mind will only get worse. Mind states have to grow naturally. The only thing we can do is create a certain conditions in which we are more likely to become happy. The Noble Eightfold Path in Buddhism is a great example to do this. But we cannot force ourselves to be happy by saying, just think of happy thoughts. It just won't work. Even worse are the good vibes only kind of people who have zero tolerance to anything they perceive as negative, insisting they should be surrounded by happy and upbeat people. It is kind of naive to expect that human beings are perpetually happy, or happy on command for that matter. There might be some exceptions, but these are extremely rare cases. Toxic positivity is a recipe for creating a thick, dense shadow that harbors all the undesirable traits you are not supposed to have, because you must wear the mask of happiness all the time. All your sadness, fear, guilt, or other emotions which we cannot show because we are forced to be positive are buried deep down into the darkness of unconscious festering, creating a monster that will come to the surface when you least expect it. And if left without being acknowledged and suppressed, can later manifest in anxiety, depression, or even physical illness. Quote, everything worthwhile in life is won through surmounting the associated negative experience. Any attempt to escape the negative, to avoid it, or quash it, or silence it, only backfires. The avoidance of suffering is a form of suffering. The avoidance of struggle is a struggle. The denial of failure is a failure. Hiding what is shameful is itself a form of shame. And Code by Mark Manson. Toxic positivity is an attempt to force happiness by rejecting any form of undesirable aspects of a certain events, while true positivity is adopting a positive attitude towards these events while accepting the negative aspects at the same time. Equanimity, upekkha, is a great concept I learned from Vipassana Meditation. It's the middle way of being positive while leaving room for negative emotions as well, and completely accepting that we are feeling terrible. Instead of telling yourself or others, just get over it. It is important to acknowledge the reality of our emotions by verbalizing them and moving them out of our bodies. This is what keeps us sane, healthy, and relieves us of the tension caused by suppressing the truth. Once we honor our feelings, we embrace all of ourselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and accepting ourselves just as we are. After this, when someone who are going through a difficult phase in their life opens up to you, instead of saying just think happy thoughts, just listen to what they would like to say. Show empathy. A lot of times people want to be heard. You could intentionally choose your words and say, I understand it's a difficult situation, but you have coped in the past. You have always coped, and I'm certain you will cope this time. If there is something I can do for you, please let me know. I'm here for you. I will support you, and I love you for who you are. I don't even know what to say right now, but I'm so glad you shared with me. And if you could just get up and give that person a genuine hug, that will last so much longer than many other statements that might hurt them instead. By replacing toxic positivity with true positivity, we leave room for people to feel what they feel. How can we possibly help people when we deny them at the same time? People who only want to associate with you only when you radiate so-called good vibes are not a positive influence at all. There is no good or bad emotion. Every single emotion has a function that tells us what is going on in our body, what is going on in our environment, and how we should react to them. It is really important to acknowledge these emotions. They are data. They are not directives. When I was going through the lowest times in my life, all I wanted to hear was, Christine, I hear you. I see that you have gone through some really difficult times of lately, and I'm here for you. It's okay to feel terrible. This feeling terrible happens. And I want to listen to what you are going through. And this, my friend, is empathy. Empathy is tapping into someone else's shoes and showing them that you are caring for them at that moment, listening to them and trying your best to provide what they need. And that is what actually saved my life.